following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, we are back, baby, in business. Yes, it does not matter who the host is on this lovely Thursday, October the 7th of 2021, day 280th. Yes, 80th of the year, and only 85 days left to go before we're done with this big bad mamma jamma. So there you go. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we're hanging out with our friends and our colleagues at that other joint that we do stuff at.
Radio.
Oh, yes, good old Radio Big, doing the things that they do around there, hanging out. They're doing some music stuff, hanging out, doing some stuff, but they let us take over in the morning, so it's always fun doing that. So a lot of stuff going on in the overnight. We've been talking, moving, grooving, all that kind of fun stuff, because that's important. The move and the groove and the hang and the wang. Hold on, should I say the hang and the wang? That's probably not a good combination of stuff to say. But anyways, let's talk about what happened inside of the overnight, because that's always important to see what was going on. So as we always talk about, it seems like 2 weeks in a row, we've been having conversations that are related mostly to alligators or gators in this fact. So a massive gator scarfed down a smaller gator in South Carolina this week. The video shot by Taylor Soper shows a giant cannibal eating another one whole. Soper captured the footage from his parents' backyard. He said that the smaller gator was at least 6 feet long. So that should tell you that that's some scary shit going on in South Carolina when it's all said and done. Now, let's just kind of be realistic. Radio side only, we could hang out and probably do some stuff where we would do the play of what was going on. You could hear some sounds and all that kind of fun stuff. But if I show you the video, it kind of becomes one of those things that I get questioned by the social media streamers. Like, I have the video, it's playing in the background, but I can't show it to you. 68,562 views so far. 68,562 views so far. Because what happens is that you have people that are out there doing stuff like I do in the morning, and guess what they're talking about? They're talking about these videos for people to go out there and take a look at. So, hey, I mean, we have to fill the time with something. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so you know how it goes around here, or maybe you don't. If you're kind of new to the whole thing, let me explain to you how we hang out in this particular world. What we do around here is as follows. We kind of come in and talk about the world of news and safety, and then we come in here, we talk a little bit, we chat a little bit more, and then we move to another section and then come back. So we talk about what's going on inside of the world of news. We talk a little bit about the safety world. We bring in some professional broadcasters because they know what the hell they're doing, because I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing today. They talk a little bit about what's going on, and then we kind of move on from there. It's always some fun times on how that stuff works out, so you don't have to worry too much about, not getting the true Iggy of what is happening, because they'll take care of you. So let's do this. Let's get you to our friends at Feature Story News real quick. They'll get us moving and grooving and jamming and bamming. Man, my lingo today is just totally messed up, and we'll get that started right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature Story News in London. I'm Chris Jones. An earthquake in Pakistan's southwestern province of Balochistan has left 20 people dead. At least 150 others are believed to be injured. Officials are warning the toll may rise further. Our South Asia correspondent Neha Punia has more.
The 5.7 magnitude earthquake struck about 100 kilometers east of the provincial capital of Quetta at 3 a.m. local time when most residents of the area were fast asleep. Most people were killed when buildings collapsed, and many of the dead are women and children. More than 100 mud houses have collapsed and a large number of buildings have been damaged, leaving hundreds of people homeless. The U.S. Geological Survey says the earthquake struck at a depth of 9 kilometers, and shallow quakes like this one can cause more damage. Pakistan straddles the boundary where the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates meet, making the country more susceptible to earthquakes.
A federal judge has blocked the enforcement of Texas's near-total ban on abortion, handing the Biden administration a victory in its quest to overturn the most restrictive abortion law in the country. Tony Waterman has more from Austin, Texas.
U.S. federal judge Robert Pittman said since the law came into effect, women were being unlawfully prevented from exercising control over their own lives, a right protected in the Constitution. The law bans most abortions after 6 weeks and makes no exceptions for rape or incest. The Supreme Court declined to block the law last month, partially due to its novel structure, which empowers citizens to enforce the rules rather than state officials. The ruling is a victory for the U.S. Justice Department, which had sued to halt the law. The Texas Attorney General's office has already signaled it will appeal the order, which could send the case to the 5th U.S. Court of Appeals, considered the most conservative appeals court in the United States.
A group of armed men have kidnapped 4 aid workers in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. 3 of the aid workers were employees of the International Medical Corps. Congolese officials say unidentified militants kidnapped them in the territory of Fizi on Tuesday. And Russian officials say retaliatory steps will be taken after NATO expelled 8 members of Russia's delegation to the bloc. NATO says there were undeclared intelligence agents, which Russia has denied. Julia Chapman has more from Moscow.
The chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Russian Parliament, Leonid Slutsky, called the expulsions unfounded. He said the Foreign Ministry would propose countermeasures that may go beyond reciprocity. Other officials denounced the move as evidence that NATO doesn't want to engage with Russia. In addition to expelling 8 Russian members, NATO has halved the size of the Russian delegation.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, more on Wednesday's news that was easy to miss, but vastly important for millions of people around the world. For the first time, the World Health Organization has approved a vaccine for use against malaria. After decades of work, the vaccine called Mosquirix has been shown effective in combating the deadliest of 5 malaria pathogens. It's manufactured by GlaxoSmithKline, and more than 800,000 children have participated in a pilot project in Ghana, Kenya and Malawi over the past 2 years. The news was announced in Geneva by Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, head of the WHO.
I longed for the day that we would have an effective vaccine against this ancient and terrible disease. Today is that day, an historic day. Today, WHO is recommending the broad use of the world's first malaria vaccine. This long-awaited malaria vaccine is a breakthrough for science, child health, and malaria control.
As the vaccine is rolled out, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, health analysts say it could save tens of thousands of lives a year. But it could take a year before distribution is widespread. Gavi, the global vaccine alliance that is already rolling out COVID-19 vaccines, must now make time to assess the impact of the malaria jab. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap our top stories, an earthquake in Pakistan's southwestern province of Balochistan has left 20 people dead. A federal judge has blocked the enforcement of Texas's near-total ban on abortion. A group of armed men have kidnapped 4 aid workers in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And Russian officials say retaliatory steps will be taken after NATO expelled 8 members of Russia's delegation to the bloc. That's the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In 96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in 09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey, come in real close. I got something to share with you. Not everybody has a beautiful head. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can pull off the shaved head look. Hey, I'm not digging on people. I'm just bringing it up. Some people out there are losing their hair. Now, I want to tell you about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultation and medication delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't even have to leave your home. Think about that. There's other things that you have to leave your home to be able to pick up, not with Keeps. They have low-cost treatments that start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. It's discreet packaging and proven results. Now think about this for a moment. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 5 months to see results. So act fast. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month for free. KEEPS.com/safety. Now just remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head like mine.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, there you go. Anyways, 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. So before we get into the news, I got to share this with you because I found it kind of interesting. So let's see. I had a conference that I've been interested in attending, and I have not finalized everything, but I thought it was interesting. So yesterday I get a phone call, and it was really a voicemail because I don't pick up the phone most of the times. But I get a voicemail that it says, "Hey, listen, we see that you have created a profile for a event that is coming up. But to make sure that you can attend this event, you must upload a valid vaccine card for COVID, of course, or you must actually show the day before the event a negative test. And then if you go during the multiple days of the event, you must show every 24-hour increments that you have taken a test and they're negative." So what do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think about that event right there? By the way, just for information purposes, I believe the box is working. Believe in actually working as two separate things. So just so you know, or you can always do 866-930-SFM1. So don't worry about that portion for the time being, because got some news on that side, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So what do you think? What comes to mind when I tell you that? So do you think that the vaccine passport is going to essentially become a thing? Or is it just one of those things that it's a one-off, that somebody's saying, hey, let's go around and do this? Now, keep in mind that you can be entitled to your own opinion. That's the great thing about this. The other portion is that we talk about this, and also at the same time, too, as we talk about it, not everybody's going to want to publicly share what they believe. I mean, it's okay. Those things happen. But when it comes to the whole world of the strange, the whole land of the weird, what do you think? Do you think that this is okay? Now, here's the fun part. I know that a lot of us have that person that we are around people, then we have the person that we are behind the scenes. But you have to think about it. You have to come to the conclusion on what's going to work best for you. Just think about it as we do move forward on this lovely Thursday. Anyways, let's get into some new stuff. Fertility rates are declining, which means that nearly every country could have a shrinking population by the end of the century within 23 nations. I don't know if you should talk about fertility rates being down and then talking about having shrinking issues.
Duh.
Just not a good combination. This is including Spain and Japan seeing their population cut in half by the year 2100. So by the 2100s, what exactly is happening? If the fertility rate falls below 2.1 children per woman, then there is a size of the population that starts to fall. Worth noting, back in 1950, women were having the average of 4.7 children. 4.7 children. No wonder you hear that whole thing of she has childbearing hips back from that timeline, but I understand that now. Based on the data, the University of Washington Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, the global fertility rate half the 2.4 in 2017. Their study projects that they will fall below to 1.7 by the year 2100. Based on the data, researchers expect the number of people on the planet to peak at 9.7 billion by 2064 before falling down to 8.8 billion by the end of the century. I mean, let's just be realistic. That's a shitload of people, regardless of how you look at it. So what do you think about there being a downward trend, a downward spiral, if I may say it that way, when it comes to this? I mean, I'm just asking. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot of things that might change some things for you. Anyways, the Zodiac Killer may have been identified. A cold case task force claims that it has found the identity of the notorious killer who terrorized Northern California in the late 1960s while taunting authorities with cryptic notes. The case breaker told Fox, a news group that led by former FBI agents and retired law enforcement officials, believe that the killer is a man named Gary Francis Post. That's Gary Francis Post, who died back in 2018. The group also tied the serial killer to 6 murders. He had already been linked to 5 murders back in 1968 and 1969 in the San Francisco area by the FBI. New forensic evidence in the case revealed that Post, as the killer who had claimed to have been slaughtered as many as 37 people. The FBI is now looking into case breakers' claims regarding the Post. I mean, hold on. I mean, there has to be just more than they have a good idea that this is what they believe that it is. Because think about this shit for a moment. You're going out there and you're telling people, hey, this dude that we have a name that died at this point 3 years ago, we think that he's the killer. We think that he's the one that went around and did this. I just don't know if that's going to sit well with a lot of people. I don't know if that's going to sit well with you going around and saying this information and then not having the info all across the board with that being okay. I mean, I'm just saying this out loud. It comes into the brain and then we just talk about it exactly how it goes there.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so the Oxford English Dictionary has been given a K update. Yes, over 20 new words of Korean origin have been added to the definitive document of the English language, including K-pop, K-drama, K-beauty, K-food, and K-style. More words are getting prefixed with the K as South Korea culture continues to rise in international popularity. The OED wrote in a recent blog post regarding the update, the oldest K word in the OED, Oxford English Dictionary, just in case, is Korean. So there you go. Anyways, the WHO approved the first ever vaccine to prevent malaria, as we already discussed in Feature Story News this week. The new vaccine is called Morcurix, yeah, that's what it sounds like, helps the immune system fight off malaria pathogens common in Africa. It could save tens of thousands of lives each year. Not only is it the first vaccine to prevent malaria, it is also the first to prevent parasite disease. Malaria kills around 500,000 people each year, mostly in Africa. The majority of the deaths are in children under the age of 5. So good to hear that there is some movement going on inside of that particular world, because that's always important. Anyways, it is 22 minutes past the top of the hour. You are listening to RadioBig.fm and to SafetyFM.com. This is the Rated R Safety Show, just in case if you were lost on what you were taking a listen to, portion of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. So there you go. Anyways, a Florida woman is listed as having received a $3.4 million in COVID relief funds for catering businesses that she does not own. Let's try that again. A Florida woman is listed as having received $3.4 million in COVID relief funds for catering businesses that she does not own. Yes, you did hear me correctly there. Amy Williams, who's stunned to discover her name and an outdated address ended up in federal database stating that she had received millions in COVID restaurant revitalization funds for catering business. She said that she never applied for, never received, and never worked for in the restaurant business. Of the 31 Daytona Beach businesses that received COVID funds, William is at the top. The next highest is a check went to a Beachline nightlife spot for nearly $560,000, according to the Daytona Beach News Journal. I mean, I don't know. It is so weird on how some of this stuff has worked out. So how the hell did she end up with $3.4 million? That's one. So is she saying that she didn't scam the system? And hey, good for her. Good for her on that one. But how did she become the popular name there? That's going to be something to think about if you give it the ooey gooey real quick.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, Swedish health officials suspended the use of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine for those age 30 and under due to an increased risk of side effects such as inflammation of the heart muscle. While the heart symptoms usually go away on their own, there is still have to be monitored by doctors. Anders Tegnell, Sweden's chief epidemiologist, said in Denmark, people under the age of 18 won't be offered the Moderna vaccine due to the same concern about the microdosis and a Danish health authority announcement that was said there. In both countries, they were still instead of given the Pfizer vaccine, which has been also green-lighted for those 12 and older to receive. So there you go. Just some information as it comes in to the house here. So there you go. The latest data from Pfizer shows that the vaccination is 90% effective against severe COVID-19 illness for at least 6 months after the second dose. The study published in this week's Lancet Medical Journal was conducted by researchers with Kaiser Permanente Southern California, who looked at more than 3.4 million recipients of the Pfizer jab. Pfizer analysis showed that the ability of the vaccine to shield against infections fell by nearly half, from 88% a month following the second dose down to 47% after 6 months. But despite the drop in defense, the vaccine still remained 90% effective against hospitalizations due to the virus, including the Delta the Delta variant. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there as we are talking. So here you go. 4 people were injured during a shooting at a high school in Arlington, Texas that began at a fight between 2 students yesterday. The shooting took place on the 2nd floor of Timberview High School when the suspect gunman Timothy George Simpkins, 18, pulled a gun and began firing. It is unclear how many shots he got that he was able to fire off. After an hours long of manhunt, Simpkins surrendered to officers. He faces 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The injured officer said that 1 student suffered minor injuries and refused care, while 3 others were rushed to the hospital. At least 2 of them got gunshot wounds. Of those hospitalized, 1 was a 15-year-old boy who is in critical condition. A 25-year-old man believed to be a teacher was also injured during the shooting, but is in good condition. And a pregnant district employee who fell during the chaos is also expected to be okay. It is not yet clear what prompted the fight. How the hell did the kid end up with a gun? That's going to be the first thing. And then, of course, now, we're going to have that whole conversation about guns and violence. And then we're going to talk about Texas some more and all that kind of fun stuff. Ease of use, ease of being able to get a hold of these things. And this is going to be one of those combos that are just going to come up. You just know that this is how it goes. You just do. I mean, there's no ands, if, and buts around that whole thing. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and go, oh, let's talk about something else because, that is what's going on. Anyways, let's get some Johnny Smalls in here real quick and let him give you the market beat.
Here's your market beat minute for Thursday, October 7th, 2021. Equities fell again Wednesday, but the selling appears to be losing steam. The S&P 500 fell more than 1% intraday to retest the support at the 4,300 level, but that support is still holding. So long as the market is able to remain above this level, new highs are the most likely scenario, but there is risk. Not only is there looming government shutdown, but the peak of earnings season is next week, and there is the NFP report on Friday to worry about. The ADP report Wednesday confirmed robust hiring in September, but far short of what economists have been expecting. With federal unemployment subsidies expiring, there are over 6 million unemployed Americans in need of immediate employment. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one and sharing that great information with us on what exactly is going on. Let's tell you what we found on our side of the woods over here. Wall Street enjoyed a second consecutive positive day as the Dow increased by 102 points, the Nasdaq jumped 68 points, and the S&P added about 17 points. Markets gained momentum during the day after Republicans in the Senate offered a short-term extensive of it says extensive, but it probably should have said extension of the federal debt ceiling. The Nasdaq Composite saw the largest intraday swing since March as it finished up at the 0.5% after being down 1.2%. So there you go. Some information to think about for sure as we are talking on this lovely, lovely, lovely morning. Anyway, some other stuff going on real quick. Los Angeles leaders approved one of the country's strictest vaccine mandates yesterday. The city council voted 11-2 in favor of the ordinance that will require full vaccination for anyone entering bars, restaurants, nail salons, gyms, or sporting events starting November the 4th. The move comes after the council postponed the vote to deal with concerns raised about what would be who could be fined for violations on how to protect employees who ask for vaccination proof. Critics called the segregation of the mandate, while others believe that it is unenforceable. So there you go. So what do you think? I mean, think about it. Think about Los Angeles. And think about what comes to mind. So there's a lot of stuff that comes to mind. Maybe even Hollywood comes to mind as you're thinking about Los Angeles. Maybe you're thinking about, the movies. You're thinking about City of Stars. You think about a lot of things. But La La Land is now really changing into something else. La La Land has now been started enforcing this in little over a month. And how is this going to work? Because now we're talking full vaccination for bars, restaurant, nail salons, gyms, sporting events. So you're going to have a lot of limitations on the things you can do. And I mean, we've already been looking at a lot of different things that are going on. So now here becomes the Iggy. Now becomes the interesting part. So if I have a restaurant / bar that's open outside and you're not coming into the facility, how will that work? If I have a bar or a restaurant that you actually are partially outside, how does it work? And then sporting events. What if I have an open dome? What if I have it outside? What if it's not closed? I mean, there's going to be a lot of things. And so then now you're saying sporting events, but now tell me about concerts. Because our concerts going to file into the category because now we can start talking. Maybe we'll have the similar amount of people going to both. Just a lot of stuff to think about. Just saying.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's get it moving and grooving as we're getting into our main story, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, as you and I are hanging out. So let's start talking because I'm getting confused. I'm getting slightly confused on a lot of the stuff that is going on. I'm getting confused on some terminology that's being used out there. I'm getting confused on the things that are happening inside of the world of ours. Now, listen, I have it's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's an honor to be able to speak with so many different organizations, time in and time out, talking about what is going on. So that's always fun. But there is some confusion here that it continues to take place, that if I care more, we will be safer. If the people that work here cared more about what was going on, we will be safer inside of our organization. If we cared more about doing this, everything would be better. I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't, because it's such a hard time having that understanding there. Because let's think about it. I want you to think about the people that are firefighters. I want you to think about people that work in the police department. I want you to think about people that are rangers, that are like park rangers. And I'm talking about park rangers that are like on a mountain peak. I want you to think about all these people. And these people go out there and they put their life on the line to save others. Life on the line to save others. It doesn't always work. People are not always safe. So do you think if they cared a little bit more in the work that they do, we would be safer? Think about it. I want you to use the park ranger as an example. Especially if somebody's like on a mountaintop, you're going out there, they're doing a search and rescue, they're going to look for some people, and some of the park rangers that are helping out get injured during this. Injured, maybe even a loss of life. Can you actually sit back for a moment and go, well, maybe if that park ranger cared a little bit more, we would be safer? I mean, you get it? Do you think about that whole picture there for a moment? So at no point should we think about this as if I cared more, we would be safer. It's not the way that it works. It's changing inside of the organization, the culture. And I'm not talking about safety culture. We get so hung up on safety culture. That's not it. It's changing the overall culture of the organization. If you always put safety separate as inside of this particular box of safety culture and our culture as an organization, things will never go the way that you're planning. Think about this for a moment. I mean, be realistic when it's all said and done. Because here's the gig. anytime that you segregate things in that particular fashion, it will always be separated. It will always be looked on as two separate things, or however multiple different things you have going on. Simplify the process. Merge everything together. And I mean, I will tell you, I catch heat with organizations for saying this. I catch heat with safety professionals by saying this. You can't treat them as two separate things. You can't, I mean, and I almost look at it and go, there shouldn't per se, be a safety department. It shouldn't be titled in that fashion. It should probably be people that are trying to advance your culture. I mean, how the hell do you word that? Who knows? But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and go, if you care more, you're going to be so much safer. It's a bunch of bullshit. Let's just be real. It's people sit around, go around, and talk about if you cared more, how people could be safe. It's not the gig. You can sit here and we can go back and forth and say, yeah, it's the gig, but it's not the gig. A lot of stuff to think about on that one. That's for sure. But here's what I'll tell you. A lot of people will tell me that I'm off my rocker. I'm telling you, if people did care more, we could make it further. Well, you can make it further. It's not going to change anything. You'll make it further for a period of time. It'll be acted on as an emotional event. I give you 6 weeks on that one. Matter of fact, I know some people that I'm able to talk to that almost like on like a 6-week cycle, it just becomes the same thing over and over again. Don't know why it does. It just does. But anyways, what the fuck do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
There is a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the world of virtual private networks or VPNs. let me tell you real quick about my favorite VPN service, NordVPN. I hear people say all the time that VPNs have the reputation of slowing down your internet speed, but not with NordVPN. It's because they are the fastest VPN in the world. I don't have to sacrifice internet speed for better security. With NordVPN, my traffic is routed through a secure encrypted tunnel, which protects my data and privacy. I can also have NordVPN on up to 6 devices, so all my devices are protected. I will tell you, I have used NordVPN throughout all of North America and have never ran into an issue with the service. And now, for an exclusive offer for you, get up to 73% off of a 2-year plan plus 4 months for free. Yeah, you heard me right there. 4 months for free. All you have to do to get this offer is go to nordvpn.com/safetyfm. That's nordvpn.com/safetyfm, or use code safetyfm at checkout. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee if NordVPN is not for you, so there's no risk whatsoever. It's the equivalent to buying a cup of coffee every month, a small price to pay for premium cybersecurity and access to vast amounts of entertainment. So go right now to nordvpn.com/safetyfm. That's nordvpn.com/safetyfm to get this special offer, or use the code safetyfm at checkout. Remember, 73% off for a 2-year plan plus 4 months for free.
When I know you don't want me, 'cause I've been going fast and you wanna go slowly. Maybe I'm just wasting time. Tell me how you feel. I don't wanna be a friend, I want something real. Maybe if I say the night, you could feel the same.
Hey now, he doesn't want to be friends, he wants to have something real. What kind of friendship is this? Anyways, this is Jensen Prevail J. This one's called The Little Closure. This one's readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
Ain't nobody touch me like you can. I just need some closure.
What kind of friendship is this? Nobody has touched me like you can. Anyway, so there you go. Some fun stuff always going on around here. We are 43 minutes past the top of the hour. So what does that mean for you and me? That means I'm running late. But, you know, that's not your problem. That's my problem. So let's talk about some things that are going on real quick as we bring that song down. Thank you for letting us use that one. Anyways, Bike Curious, a 40-year-old motorcycle with exactly 0 miles is going up for sale, all because a dad didn't approve his son buying it back in 1981. Okay, not exactly 0 miles, but the odometer of the 1981 CB100N reads 0.4 miles. How did something like this happen? A teenager bought it about 40 years ago, and when he brought it home, his father said it was not cool with the idea. He immediately confiscated it and locked it away in a shed. After his father died, the unnamed owner, now who's in his 50s, was given the job of cleaning out his house in Somerset, England, and stumbled upon the bike, which was immaculate condition. Yeah, I'm sure it didn't have any dust on it whatsoever. And it was auctioned off on October the 14th. The pre-sale estimate was $2,750, but probably will go for significantly more. One expert says because the bikes were used for commuting mostly, and remaining ones have a lot of miles on them, there are some that are still out there in rough condition. Besides that, it's a very rare find for any vehicle with less than a mile on the odometer. Just say my treadmill and you'll know that one has that as well. And well, as it goes for a nice kid who's overbearing dad also bans him from enjoying it for 40 years. I mean, 40 years, like, how do you forget that your dad took this thing from you for 40 years? And, like, was there any kind of money exchange? I mean, how much money did you dump into this thing at the time? And then all of a sudden you were just kind of cool with the whole idea of not getting it back. Just something to think about.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about some Corona update real quick, because, that's always important stuff for us to talk about and go for. So a new study says that without mask wearing, 6 foot of physical distancing guidelines may not be enough to prevent the spread of COVID-19 indoors. The study conducted by the researchers at McGill University of Sherbrooke in Texas A&M, and Northern Illinois University examined the flow of liquids and gases of an indoor space using computer programs that simulate coughing dynamics, and the scientists concluded that mask mandates and good ventilation are critically important to curb the spread of more contagious strains of COVID-19, especially during the winter months as more people socialize indoors. They found that when people that are on mask, more than 70% of airborne particles pass through 6 feet threshold within 30 seconds. By comparison, less than 1% of particles go across a 6 foot mark if a mask is worn. Ew, I never want not to wear a mask again, is what it sounds like after that particular report. And then another thing, one vaccine maker says that the world will likely need a new COVID vaccine by the middle of next year. Ergu Sahin, CEO and co-founder of Biotech, which is co-related to Pfizer vaccine, said that the new vaccine will necessarily be needed to protect against future variants that could that the current vaccine will no longer be able to work against. According to him, the next iteration of the vaccine will need to be tailored to address forthcoming mutations because they will also be able to evade the immune response of the current vaccines provided. You're already working on this, right, sir? I mean, I have a feeling that that's what you're going to tell me next. Just throwing that out there as an idea.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So here, I want to put some things in perspective for you real quick, as we are 47 minutes past the top of the hour. Donald Trump is worth an estimated $2.5 billion, leaving him $400 million short of the cutoff of the Forbes 400 list of America's richest people. So here you go. Here's the top 5. At number 5, Larry Page, Alphabet/Google at $123 billion. At number 4, Bill Gates and Microsoft co-founder, $134 billion. At number 3, Mark Zuckerberg at $134.5 billion. At number 2, Elon Musk, Tesla and SpaceX at $190.5 billion, and Jeff Bezos' estimated net worth is $201 billion. He's number 1 for the 4th year in a row now. I mean, how do you go around and just share your bank account information with people? I mean, I know it's estimated on what they're worth, but hey, it's just something to think about as we are talking here, of course, on this lovely morning. Anyways, let's get into some wellness stuff, because that's always important going on around here.
Your Wellness Reset Minute is brought to you by alessamorgan.com. How important is motivation to you? And how do you feel when you hear that motivation is an unreliable tool? What leads to motivation is action. Waiting for a perfect situation, perfect timing, perfect inspiration to do anything. All of this compounds to procrastination and putting off taking action. Sometimes we are creating a perpetual cycle of waiting for the perfect moment that is never going to come. When we stop relying on motivation and shift our focus to creating a habit instead, motivation will follow. If you are struggling to start because you are experiencing lack of inspiration, ask yourself, what is the smallest step you can take today that will bring you closer to your goals? And do that. This minute was brought to you by Wellness Reset, where we always encourage you to find real ways to reset your wellness. For more information, please visit alessamorgan.com.
Okay, thank you for that one. Thank you for that update, because we always need to figure out what the hell's going on with our wellness. So if motivation's not the key, what am we doing next? 49 minutes past the top of the hour. According to a product review site, Rave, the 3 most hated brands in the world are Sony, Tesla, and Uber. And by most and the most hated fast food brand is KFC. Rave based their findings on the ratio of bad tweets to good tweets, which they call hate rate. So there you go. So now go rave on Rave about the hate rate on what the hell is going on there. Oh, this world that we live in, how exciting some of these things all become. as we get to talk about this. Anyways, no winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday's drawing will be for $60 million jackpot or $42.1 million cash payout. So is it time to pay the game? I don't know. It will be something to think about as we are talking here. Anyways, let's continue a little bit more with some other stuff before I get too far into the weeds here. Just real quick, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2020, Hurricane Delta makes landfall on Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula with winds reaching 100 miles per hour. It was the 25th named one back in of 25th named one for that year. Also on this date, think about this: Spotify is launched back in 2008. The music, now podcast, and streaming service was created by Daniel Elk and Martin Lorenzo. So there you go. Think about that. But 2008, boy, what a world of difference it's made throughout the years. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays for today. Holland Roldan turns 35. Caitlin the Wrestler turns 35. Charles Woodson, 45. Rhino, 46. Allison Munn turns 47. Thorm York, 53. Tony Braxton turns 54 today. Salman Cal turns 62. Tico Torres turns 68. Vladimir Putin turns 69. John Mellencamp turns 70. And Thomas Kennelin turns 86 today. So those are some birthdays that are going on today. What else do we have going on? Let's talk about the days of the year that you can celebrate today if you're so inclined to do so. National Chocolate Covered Pretzel Day. National LED Light Day. National Frappe Day. National Inner Beauty Day. Oh, talks about like the eating makeup thing we talked about earlier this week. That's a whole other story. National Awareness Day, and then Bald and Free Day. Hold on. I didn't know it was Bald and Free Day. I would have shaved my head or had something going on. That's for sure. So there you go. That's that. Let's talk about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Are you in crisis? If you are, know this. If you've struggled with these things, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences about people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. Also, you can go to their website at afsp.org. That's afsp.org to find out more information. Believe me, nobody else can play your part. There's no ands, ifs, and buts about it. No one else can do it. So go out, find out more information, or even go there and find out information that you can share with others if needed, because that's always importante, as we are talking. So let me give you some whack facts this morning. In ancient Egypt, pillars were made of stone. Well, that sounds comforting. In Middle Ages, chicken soup was considered an aphrodisiac. You are 10 times more likely to be injured while fishing than being at an amusement park. A gun with a silencer attached sounds about as loud as a car door being slammed. In Antarctica, sunsets can be green. In Antarctica, wow, I can't even speak. And then according to experts, the best shaving brush material is badger hair. So there you go. Just some things to think about as we are talking this morning. Just real quick, reports say that most of us have at least one unfinished to-do list project. For my wife, it's been me for about the last 20 years. According to Forbes' 35 annual world's billionaire list, they're combined worth over $15 trillion. So to put that in perspective, you can't put that into perspective. A survey once found that 1 in 10 Americans still listen to cassette tapes. Unfortunately, they didn't get a chance to say that because their pager went off, and then they had to find a payphone so they could return the phone call. John Mellencamp is 70 today. These days, he dribbles off the pair of those Bobby Brooks, and he ends up pulling up a muscle. And also, Russian President Vladimir Putin turned 69. If you want to give him a gift, he'll use, just don't send a shirt, because he just doesn't do that.
Whoops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Norm. Dr. Seuss said, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." This is actually a favorite quote of mine. Some people worry about what other people think. I've never really much cared. I don't go out of my way to upset anyone, but I always make sure I do what I know to be the right thing. If someone doesn't like that, that's their prerogative. But it doesn't mean I should change who I am to make them happy. I encourage you to live your own life. And I also encourage you to let other people live their own life too. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. 56 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out real quick. If you need a random joke for today, you can try this one. I put the word pro in procrastinate. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. It's Customer Service Week. What is the most amazing service you've ever received from a business? No, seriously, what is it? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. What comes to mind? Anything good? Anything worth procrastinating before you say it? Oh, okay, just joking there. Okay, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this question. Women under 30 are most likely to do this when visiting someone's home. What is it? Look behind the shower curtain. Do people still even use shower curtains? I thought it was like mostly glass places right now. I mean, I don't know. I'm just telling you. You know, the glass shower seems to be popular. Not a shower curtain involved inside of that. But hey, I'm just saying. But I'm not sure. I never know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking to talk. Sometimes it feels that way. Anyway, so there you go. You've been listening to this show. I've been listening to you. We've been hanging out together. We'll be back tomorrow on our freeform version of the show. We do a little bit about everything. Hopefully I can get everything kind of up and running on what I have planned next, but we'll talk about that as it does come about and around and all that kind of fun stuff. So don't worry. Anyways, I will be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come and hang out for the next couple hours or so, we'll be sitting back, taking a listen to some music, doing some of the stuff that we do over there. Just in the format of listening to a little bit of everything. And then don't forget, tomorrow will also be the premiere of the Alternative Hits Countdown for the week of October the 9th. Yes, we do tell you the week of October the 9th because that's the ender. That's the ender of the week. So there you go. If you want to come hang out, let's do that. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively here. We can't do what we do without you. The most important part, the listener. Yeah. Nothing really going on without that. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Happiness and sadness run parallel to each other. When one takes a rest, the other one takes up the slack. Think about that. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you.
Duh.
Mean it. And goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.